Right, Chelsea fans, here we go again. Today we'll be discussing and looking at Timo Werner's gameplay and what he has to offer for us. We'll be looking at why he earned his nickname Turbo Timo and what he will bring to Chelsea and how he'll revolutionize our side. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It could definitely mean a lot to me, so please do like, share and subscribe. To call the acquisition of Werner a coup would be an understatement. It is often that a player with his goal-scoring output and underlying numbers is available on the market, let alone for a fee as little as 50 million. Arguably the very best in the business rated Werner as a better purchase as compared to the likes of Jadon Sancho and Kai Havertz. Taking a deeper look at his numbers and the money associated with the signing, it is easy to see why. In this video, we will look at what makes Werner a world-class forward and his conventional playing style, his potential fit in the Chelsea team and the changes Frank Lampard may have to implement in his tactics will also be analysed later in this video, so stay tuned. While many might have only heard of Werner in the past year or two, he has been turning heads for a number of years. In fact, he broke the record for the youngest player to make 100 Bundesliga appearances at 20 years and 169 days old in 2016. Before turning 20, he already had 3 full seasons of professional football at Stuttgart under his belt. His final season at the club in particular was a huge indicator of his potential. On a team that finished in the relegation spots, Werner put up 0.49 non-penalty average goals per 90 across 26 starts and 7 appearances off the bench. Under normal circumstances, these numbers would have brought inevitable links to the rich clubs of the planet. Luckily for Leipzig, he endured a terrible finishing slump, which meant he was overlooked by most big clubs as a transfer target. However, he had a rip-roaring evolution in the past years. The improvement in his game under his new coach is evidently visible in the numbers, which we'll be looking at in the next section. He has unquestionable output and scoring pedigree. Only 2 players have scored more league goals in a major European league than Werner's 25 this season: Robert Lewandowski and Ciro Immobile. His 0.83 non-penalty goals per 90 this season is the 6th highest in the top 5 leagues and is better than the likes of Aubameyang, Salah, Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo. Skeptics have suggested that his numbers are being heavily inflated by Nagelsmann, and this is a valid concern, especially due to Nagelsmann's previous history of making players perform above their real ability levels. However, there is a strong evidence that Werner has been a consistently great goal scorer. After all, he has scored 15 or more non-penalty goals in 3 of his last 4 league seasons and under 3 different managers, so he definitely will adapt to Frank Lampard's playing style soon. While the Bundesliga is a league that is more conducive to goal scoring than the others, and Nagelsmann is a terrific attacking coach, there can be no doubts over Werner knowing where the goal is. His expected numbers have remained stellar throughout his career. He has consistently hovered over 0.5 non-penalty average goals per 90 and 0.15 average assists per 90, both thoroughly admirable tallies in isolation. A player with average finishing skill and with teammates of average finishing skill can roughly be expected to contribute around 25 non-penalty goals plus assists over the course of a league season with those underlying numbers. This season has seen Werner notch 0.66 non-penalty average goals per 90, a figure that puts him second in the league behind only Lewandowski. To go with this, Werner also has 0.3 average assists per 90, a tally that is only 0.07 lower than Jadon Sancho's and is 7th highest in the league. His combined tally of 0.96 non-penalty goals per average An average assist per 90 places him 6th overall in the top 5 leagues, bettered only by Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, Lewandowski and Di Maria. It's quite some company to be in. His ability to shoot from different locations is extremely rare to find. Attackers who can score from the left channel, central locations and the right channel are perhaps the most valuable commodity in football. While it sounds like a rather simple thing to do, the number of players who can score from all three locations is surprisingly small. The two biggest examples of such players are Raheem Sterling and Sadio Mane. Werner has shown the confidence and more importantly the ability to consistently get away shots from all three channels. While the proportion of his right channel shots has slightly decreased this season, he has consistently been able to get away around 30% of his shots from the right channel despite normally playing centrally or on the left. While it looks relatively straightforward on paper, the right channel finish is not something that many right-footed attackers can execute successfully. The ability to get away shots from different locations in the box makes it a tad trickier to mark him in the box and consequently results in his teammates having greater space to operate in. Chelsea's inability to score from the right channel has long been one of a weaker suit. With Ziyech and Werner, this should hopefully be fixed soon. Werner's goal map shows his confidence to shoot from the right. Interestingly, not many of his goals have come from within the 6-yard box this season. His best work comes in the zone between the penalty spot and the edge of the 6-yard box. His ability to score from very wide locations on either side is something that will no doubt help us going forward. As his shot map indicates, Werner finds himself in plenty of one-on-one situations. While this is partly a function of how Leipzig play, this is also a strong indicator of how he plays. In Europe's top 5 leagues, no player has been offside more often than Werner. This is no one-off either. Werner has maintained his rate of offsides per 90 throughout his career. Werner's high offside count may be viewed as a negative by some, but it shouldn't be. Just like how the best strikers on the planet shoot more than their peers and consequently miss more shots, Werner's high offside tally is a reflection of the frequency with which he runs off the shoulders of defenders. His finishing variety is absolutely superb. Finishing variety is a highly underrated attribute for attackers. While certain outliers like Arjen Robben have mastered the art of executing one move perfectly, most top attackers require a vast skill set of moves in order to ensure they are not bogged down by predictability. One of the reasons why most opponent goalkeepers appear to be world beaters against Chelsea is a lack of finishing variety in the squad. There is a serious shortage of players who can power the ball past the goalkeeper, for instance. Mason Mount is perhaps the only player who can do it on a consistent basis. Adding players who can execute different kinds of finishes will make us a far more difficult proposition to play against. In this aspect, Chelsea cannot do much better than Werner in the market. While his favourite move this season has been the far post finish, he is also comfortable blasting the ball past the goalkeeper or rounding the goalkeeper. One aspect where he can improve though is in his use of near post shots. His near post shots are often not accurate enough and are placed too close to the keeper, as we saw in the game against Crystal Palace. He is one of the most active attackers in open play in his age group. Werner's ability to score and assist at world-class rates makes him a phenomenal buy as it is, but to make things even better, he is a tremendous player in general play as well. While he is helped by Leipzig's system to an extent, his ability to get plenty of touches in open play while remaining active in and around the box is rather unique. Werner's basic metrics like shots on targets, and successful dribble are highly encouraging. The year-on-year improvement seen points towards a player who is on a steep upward curve. Werner is also gradually completing more passes per 90. In his final season at Stuttgart, he completed fewer than 16 passes per 90. The number eventually rose to nearly 18 in his first two seasons at Leipzig, then to 20.2 in his third season, and now is close to 23. As mentioned before, Werner is gradually becoming more involved in his team's possession play and is molding himself into a more rounded player. His ability to get touches in the box is outstanding, and he has managed to supplement this by rapidly improving ability to pass the ball accurately into the box. As common sense suggests, the more a player touches the ball in the box, the more likely he is to score. His shot creating actions and goal creating action numbers are both commendable too. His big game performances are gradually improving. One of the most common criticisms aimed at Werner has been his poor performances in so-called big games. While moments like his miss against Bayern Munich this season may make the criticism appear valid, it could not be further away from the truth. His goal record against top 6 opponents has been very solid at Leipzig. While the proportion of his goals against supposed weaker opponents is indeed high, almost all strikers will have similar patterns. After all, teams don't finish in the bottom half of the table without being inherently below average at certain aspects of the game. He scores plenty of meaningful goals. Werner is not a superficial goal scorer by any means. Most of his goals carry plenty of weight, be it getting the lead, doubling the lead, or scoring an equalizer. While the proportion of goals scored by Werner when scores are level may seem a little underwhelming to some, it is important to note that Leipzig are not a team that stay at level scores for long. Doubling a lead is a very underrated aspect of game management and should not be frowned upon. Turning a 1-0 lead to a 2-0 lead gives rise to more serenity and a chance to conserve energy. Most strikers playing for top teams will have a healthy proportion of goals scored when their team is in a comfortable position. This is not a stick to beat with Werner with. He is an outstanding athlete and has excellent availability. One of the most noticeable aspects about Werner is his shearing pace. In fact, as unbelievable as this sounds, he once covered 100 meters in a ridiculous 11.1 seconds in the middle of the game. Every good team requires plenty of competent athletes, and Werner brings athleticism in abundance. Furthermore, he has exceptional stamina and mental drive. The term stamina here applies to his ability to maintain his standards and intensity both within and across games. Since 2014-2015, the fewest league appearances he has made in a season is 31. While the volume of games he has played at such a young age is a valid concern, medical science is developed to allow players to play longer. People have pointed to Fernando Torres and Michael Owen as similar pace-oriented players who started and peaked early, but unlike them, one has managed to avoid serious injuries so far. In his entire career, he has never missed more than 2 games in a row due to injuries. In an even more staggering statistic, he has only missed 13 games since the beginning of 2014-2015 owing to physical ailments. While this would be a great feat for anyone, the fact that Werner achieved it during a phase when his body was still growing makes it even better. It is a testament to his professionalism. His upper body strength is good, but is not among his stronger traits. There is certainly room for improvement here. Werner will do well to use Salah as an inspiration in this regard, due to the latter's transformation from a physically weak player at Chelsea to one of the strongest forwards in the game at Liverpool. He brings a high degree of gamesmanship. Gamesmanship is perhaps a subjective topic, one that cannot be shown by numbers. While watching Werner, it is evidently clear that he is a player who can sell fouls intelligently. This is a trait that is sorely lacking in the current Chelsea team. The past few champions of England all have a variety of players who can sell fouls well and can execute tactical fouls when necessary. David Silva, Salah, Mane, Sterling and many more. Chelsea's greatest teams have had their fair share of gamesmanship as well. Eden Hazard was unparalleled at winning and selling fouls, even though he was criminally underprotected by referees. The likes of Diego Costa and Didier Drogba should require no introduction either. This is entirely subjective, but Werner is great at selling fouls and that is great for his team. He already has won us 2 penalties. Let's take a closer look at Timo Werner's weaknesses. Timo Werner is not a conventional Premier League centre-forward yet. Werner is not a centre-forward who is going to duel with opponent centre-backs or pluck high balls from the sky. That quite simply is not his game. His best performances for Leipzig have come when playing alongside a taller centre-forward who deals with centre-backs physically. Rather than receiving the ball close to the box and playing wall passes in the mold of Giroud or even Tammy Abraham, Werner drops deep or wide to receive the ball before turning and running at defenses. If he is to fit into Lampard's system as a lone centre-forward, significant changes will have to be made to the way Chelsea play. The ball will have to remain on the ground more often to Chelsea are to get the best out of Werner as a lone forward. Furthermore, he is prone to drifting towards the wings in order to take defenses by surprise. In moments like these, other attackers will have to take the responsibility to fill central locations and engage opponent centre-backs. Secondly, he has very few touches in central zones for a striker. As pointed out earlier, he takes far more touches in the left channel than in central locations. However, this is not to imply that he is a player who is going to isolate fullbacks in a 1 vs 1 scenario and beat them. His game revolves around taking plenty of touches in wide areas, moving it on quickly to a teammate before making a run into the box. Timo Werner is not great aerially. Werner's aerial numbers do not look great in the chart depicting his basic metrics. That was no aberration and is a real indication of the way he plays. In his time at Leipzig, he has never averaged more than 1 successful aerial duel per 90. His success rate is nothing to write home about either. His subpar aerial ability can largely be traced down to a poor leap and lack of timing. This is a rather peculiar scenario considering the fact he is a phenomenal athlete otherwise. The dynamic between Werner and Reece James will be interesting to follow. As his goal and finishing maps show, Werner has a grand total of 0 headed goals this season. While he had a stunning season in terms of headed goals in 2016 and 2017 with 4 of them, his tally since then has been 3 across over 3 seasons. If he is to be played as a centre-forward, bombarding the box with crosses might not be the most optimal strategy. A more effective tactic may be the incorporation of cutbacks. Let us be patient with Timo Werner. As he comes to a new league, he will take a few months to adapt. He might not get the numbers we all expected him to get and might have a slow start. But once he gets his form right, he's gonna be all guns blazing. So let's be patient with him and hope for the best. If you learned something new in this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It would definitely mean a lot to me. So if you made it this far, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.